Hello, my name is Larry Williams. I'm the president and CEO of TAG, the Technology Association of Georgia. When it comes to the technology ecosystem, media and entertainment play a critical role. That's why I'm thrilled we are launching the TAG Media and Entertainment Society's 2021 Ecosystem Report. This new report describes the incredible journey of media and entertainment in recent years during the pandemic. It's packed with insights and does a fantastic job of helping us understand the scale and importance of media and entertainment at this pivotal time of disruption and growth in technology. How important are media and entertainment to the innovation economy? Well, combined, these industries last year had global revenues of $2 trillion. That's right, trillion with a T, $2 trillion. In the United States, the world's largest media and entertainment market, revenues were more than $500 billion. Georgia has become one of the top media and entertainment hubs in the world and is home to some 800 businesses in the industry, involving 6 diverse subsectors tracked in the TAG report. Overall, media and entertainment generated some $14.7 billion in revenues in Georgia, and it supports an estimated 40,000 jobs. The 4 sectors of film, television, music, and video gaming drove $6.6 billion in annual sales. Not only do these industries have a big economic impact, they also touch our lives in profound ways and shape how business is conducted throughout the economy. A lot of people ask, why is Georgia an epicenter of creative talent in film, TV, and gaming content production? Well, one major driver has been state policies. They have played a great role. Georgia doesn't cap film tax credits, giving it a competitive advantage over many states. The tax credits are a powerful magnet, attracting creative and production talent, along with the big budget films they're willing to shoot right here in our state. Believe me, our friends in California and other states envy this job growth, and we wouldn't want to lose it. This report highlights how valuable the entertainment and media industries are and validates the smart policies that made their growth possible. As we managed through the pandemic, businesses adapted in a big way. Media businesses pivoted to streaming models of revenue. They raced to convert to digital technology and means of communication. Media and entertainment companies devised new ways to create great content and gain an advantage in the marketplace. Now, thanks to these changes, the future of these companies is bright. In 2021, media and entertainment led the way to a broader economic recovery. That recovery is being fueled by innovations across a wide spectrum of tech industries, and media and entertainment is at the forefront. Congratulations to the leaders of the TAG's Media and Entertainment Society for launching this outstanding and valuable report. Fantastic work. I look forward to more great things to come from this society and our other 20 societies. Gosh, special shout out to Louis Gump, Quincy Johnson, and their respective teams for their leadership and outstanding efforts. I really can't thank all of you enough for all that you do. And they'll be telling you more about TAG's Media Entertainment Ecosystem Report and its many insights. Louis, Quincy, over to you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Quincy Johnson, Vice President of Distribution Partner Operations for WarnerMedia. I am also co-chair of TAG's Media and Entertainment Society. Sorry I couldn't join you live today, but I am pleased to share a few thoughts on video for the launch of TAG's Media and Entertainment Ecosystem Report. I'm proud of this important report. It does an amazing job of helping us understand the profound impact of media and entertainment on the technology ecosystem and broader innovation economy. It's fascinating to me how media and entertainment companies innovated during the pandemic. In the face of unprecedented disruption, the most successful companies pivoted to new models like streaming. Now the future is bright for media and entertainment. The overall industry is forecasted to grow at about 6% in 2021 and beyond. This report brings to light important lessons for all of us about the power of innovation. It also tells the story of Georgia's rise as an epicenter of film and video production. Thanks to this report, we now know this creative industry employs 40,000 people and is a critical driver of broader economic growth in Georgia, helping to create jobs and fuel the recovery happening right now. The policies that made this growth possible have worked brilliantly. Let's keep that in mind and stay focused on keeping Georgia a great place to live, work, and grow businesses. I look forward to following the progress of the 713 companies tracked in the report. I expect TAG's Media and Entertainment Society will issue further updates and continue this important conversation. Thank you to my co-chair, Louis Gump with Cox Media, and to the rest of the team who made possible this outstanding effort. Here's to the even better things to come in 2022 and beyond.
And thank you, Larry. And we appreciate your remarks as we celebrate this real milestone day for our TAG Media and Entertainment Society. I'm here today live, and very happily so, with some of the most accomplished leaders in our industry, including John Raulet, Farah Allen, and Todd Harris. And together we want to share a little bit more about the importance of our industry and the impact, and also what this report means. So I'd like to start with a little bit of a story. And I'm Louis Gump. I'm Senior Vice President and General Manager of Cox Media, which is a division of Cox Communications. And a bunch of us got together 2-3 years ago, and we said, hey, an awful lot is happening in Georgia in the media and entertainment industry, but we're kind of all doing it, or many of us are doing it in silos. What if we all came together? And so we had several discussions, traded a lot of messages, and eventually we got together in person in December of 2019. And there was a very impressive group there as we talked about what we could create together through the Technology Association of Georgia. We were on the way, we had plans for events, we had plans for this ecosystem report, and then we encountered what everyone else has encountered with the pandemic. And we said, you know what? We have to make sure to take care of business and adapt, but let's not forget that idea. So we took a break for a few months, and then we reconvened virtually. And what you're seeing today is the result of many more conversations and a lot of hard work together. So we're here to announce today the launch of the Technology Association of Georgia Media and Entertainment Ecosystem Report. I have it right here. I think the link is available at this moment or very soon if it isn't already on the TAG website. It's at tagonline.org, and you can find it in the Media and Entertainment section. It's really excellent research and the first of its kind. So thank you for joining us today as we share some thoughts and really we celebrate this day. Now, as we jump in, I want to make sure first to say thank you to the sponsors of the report. This was a considerable amount of work. There was considerable expense. And so several companies stepped up to make this day possible. And they include WarnerMedia, EY, Comcast, Imagine Communications, and Cox Media. And together we've said, you know what? Somebody needs to step up and make this happen the first time. It's our intention that there will be a number of other reports over the years as our industry continues to evolve. So with that, I'd also like to say thank you to the board. We've had a number of people and companies who have helped us in various ways, and we're looking forward to a really exciting 2022. And this is essentially a lead-in to that time. So with those comments in mind, I'd like to turn quickly to our panelists here. And if you could you just introduce yourself a little bit, give us a bit of background on you, the organizations you're associated with, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, my name is John Raulet. Our company, Raulet Property Partners, owns and manages mainly industrial buildings that over the course of the last 12 years, we've converted to studio space and production space for the film industry. Started in 2008 when the film credit came around. Should I use mine? Started in 2008 when the film credit was created in Georgia, and spent first 4 or 5 years really finding any kind of space people could shoot in before we had any sound stages in the state. That didn't come until 2010 or 2011 with Screen Gems. Tyler Perry obviously had some stuff he was working on for himself. So over the course of 4 or 5 years, plugging anybody into warehouses or whatever was available at the time, And then in 2012, we started buying our own facilities, and to date, we manage, owner manage 1.5 million square feet of space, all spread out over town.
Thank you, John.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here. I'm Farah Allen, CEO, founder of the Labz. And what we do is we are an interactive design platform for you to create awesome events, on-demand experiences, even if you have video content that you want to create your own Netflix version of Netflix, you're able to do that in your own special branded way. We are, we call it COVID baby. We derived out of the need in the media and entertainment industry during COVID because video and movie premieres and Broadway shows were, of course, all closed down, and people needed to shop their art in ways that were still unique, as if they were at a venue, but there was nothing there. So in the need of creating interactive set design, we first thought of how we can do that and make it a scalable product for these organizations. So we've since moved into business, government. Everybody wants a little piece of media entertainment in their organization, and we are able to provide that within their internal teams.
Thanks. My name is Todd Harris, and founder and CEO of a company called Skillshot Media. And Skillshot Media is a turnkey provider of events and broadcasting related to esports. Esports being competitive play of video games. So similar to what a Tyler Perry or Trilith is doing in terms of infrastructure for the movie business, film and TV, we do specific to competitive video gaming and esports. And been fortunate to really be here in the Atlanta area to see the rise of the video game industry globally and locally as well. So back in 2005, I was part of a group that started a video game developer called Hi-Res Studios, just down the road here in Alpharetta. And that developer grew from about 4 employees to 450 employees. And that growth really mirrored what was going on around video gaming in Georgia overall. So I got to see how video games are consuming more and more attention, and around that, the opportunity of building a business around video game events and video game production. So that's what Skillshot does, and pleased to do it here in Georgia. We're fortunate that the same tax credit that has fueled or helped fuel so much of the growth of film and TV is also applicable to esports. So that's very helpful, and really we're the only state in the nation that has that incentive. So really excited about the report and all the work that's gone into it.
Thank you. And can you hear me okay? Okay, so first of all, I think it's pretty self-evident from these very brief, and I would even say abbreviated introductions, that we have a pioneer and a pioneer and a pioneer. And they're representative of many people around Georgia who are doing such interesting work. Now, we'll go into the business side of things, but I did want to go to the softer side just a little. We're approaching the holidays here. So I'm wondering if each of you can share maybe something that's a holiday tradition that's important to you that you really enjoy.
Sure, and I apologize, my introduction myself was horrible, but yeah,
It worked great.
Yeah. So yeah, looking forward to the holidays. I have 3 girls, 12, 15, and 17. So we're past the getting up at 6 in the morning, but we're still, we're pretty much through everything by 9:30. So this year we typically every year just have an open house and let friends, family, or whatever, just as long as I have enough booze to last to the afternoon, people just show up.
Sounds like a fine tradition.
Yeah, so my tradition, I'm Caribbean, and my sisters, my 2 sisters live here, and my aunt lives here. My mom and dad are in Florida. So they'll come up, and Christmas Eve, we'll all spend the night at whoever's house we decide for that year. We'll get matching pajamas, and then we'll have a talent show. And get a bucket of money, of dollars, and give it to the best kid, and then all the kids end up getting money at the end of it. But it's pretty fun. Everyone kind of looks forward to it.
So my family and my wife's family both are from North Carolina. So we have a pretty large gathering in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I think we've got at least 5 faith traditions represented, probably 10 different dietary traditions between paleo or vegan or gluten-free. So, but what brings everyone together is we do have a nice ornament ceremony where every family is presenting an ornament based on a theme of what was important to them for the year and hanging that up. So I always look forward to that.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. One of the things that's clear is that we aren't just a community of companies and organizations. We aren't even just a community of technology leaders and media and entertainment leaders. At the end of the day, we're people and we're members of the community. And we are all working hard to build a stronger community at that. And with that in mind, I'm curious, as you look around, each of you is both in a position where you have a front row seat to what's going on around us. And also you're on the field, you're in play, you're making it happen. Could you help us know a little bit more about, as you see it, what's fueling the media and entertainment industry in Georgia today? And anyone who'd like to start.
Good. Wow. So I think the tax credit definitely helped way back when, both in terms of video game development and also film and television production. But now I think, there's some meta trends. Certainly everyone is consuming more entertainment product. The consumption patterns might be changing, but as a society, we like to be entertained, right? And there's more and more options out there. So that's the meta trend I think you see with each generation, and certainly just the emphasis on technology. Again, this to any member who is involved with TAG, it's no surprise. Every company is a technology company. Every child is growing up with technology devices. So this confluence of entertainment, of tech, and also here in Georgia, just the arts, music, the creative arts, the digital arts, like we really have all those ingredients coming together. So that's part of why I think there's just more and more hours every year spent consuming entertainment, even though the platforms may change. And then I guess the final point that I'll point as a extra ingredient to Georgia and Atlanta is diversity. I think as a society, we're interested in hearing a more diverse set of stories and hearing from more diverse storytellers. And again, we're fortunate that we have that, I think, here in the Georgia community.
Yeah, I'll just expand on that. I've had a pretty interesting seat for this little journey here. The first deal I did was in 2008. It was a 4,000 square foot office lease to road trip to beer pong. I'm not sure how well that did in the box office, but nonetheless, that was one of the first shows to really take advantage of the credit. And kind of incrementally, organically, we just keep adding on something new towards the maturation of the industry. We got our first sound stages in 2010. Dan, Kathy, and Trilith jumped into the game. All these little additions to our infrastructure on top of the airport, and just the incredible locations that we have. The state and Nathan Deal getting the Georgia Film Academy going. All this stuff just kept piling up to where we are today. It's the infrastructure, and everything is here now for anybody to get any kind of project done. So it's just been a cool ride to see the organic growth and where we are today.
Second that. The digital space and technology is just really booming. People are finding greater need for green screens and things that are still here in Georgia, but I'm seeing a lot more of that popping up. In my space, I can be in event space one day and then pre-recorded content or video space the next. But I see folks really getting into the technology of having of filmmaking or just videography. Also see that people are finding ways to not travel so much out of Georgia. So when you bring in virtual reality spaces and 3D screens and luminarium and, entertainment, those things are just super popular and they're just growing and getting more things intelligent. So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Farah. I think we're seeing a boom in multiple places, and the real estate point, John, that you're making is critically important. There's been an announcement within about the past year about Gray building a sizable studio. I just saw something in the press over the last week about a new studio in Athens over near UGA. And so we're, it's really a dynamic time. And also, Farah, as you were speaking about AR and other technologies, I'd love to hand off to you next as we look a little deeper at, what emerging technologies are having an impact on our industry today. How do you see the drivers for this?
Yes, so I am actually seeing a lot of movement in NFTs within the music space. There's some really cool film financing projects that are coming out of that space too. That of course escalated because of COVID and people being more online and being more willing to spend their money and purchase. It's still being something that's still being cultivated within certain communities, but that has been huge. AR, VR, I mean, when you talk about just online experiences and giving people some type of advertising that's more interesting, and it's on mobile, this is all business tactics that otherwise wasn't quite popular a few years ago. It was more so slated just for the more innovative companies, but we're finding companies who are, typically the folks that aren't the leader in innovating and creating cool, marketing techniques, they're getting into the game because technology has gotten easier. They can take it out of their IT department and put it into their marketing department or whatever department that can really drive those initiatives. So technology's gotten smarter and it's gotten cheaper to execute these storytelling, these advertising initiatives.
Yes.
I think Farah nailed it with NFTs, which are very hot right now. And but I think long term, it really is a true, Web 3.0. We're seeing a shift that's not going to go away. And I think it's a couple trends. One is just valuing the digital as much as the physical, which being in the game world is not surprising to me. A company like Hi-Res Studios, the core game experience is free. The entire revenue model that pays for 450 employees are digital fashion items. You're playing the game for free and you are so invested in your avatar that you'll pay a little bit of money to distinguish yourself. So that just shows digital matters to the next generation. And of course, with NFTs, the ability to have more ownership or equity in that particular community, that's a very powerful concept that will go beyond games. So I think that is truly a transformational trend. And Farah also mentioned virtual production technology. And so a technology like an Unreal Engine, these game engines that, again, have fueled interactive experiences in the game industry now are crossing over to help power virtual productions like a Mandalorian. And so, again, here in Georgia, because we have gaming, we have music, we have events, we have movies, and we have a great workforce development pipeline with partners like the Georgia Film Academy. It's a really nice convergence all around tech. All around telling great stories and experiences through tech.
Yeah, just to expand on that, the virtual production world is going to be an interesting thing to watch. I believe Trilith is building, or if not finished, with a virtual stage, and just the impact like a Mandalorian has on the ability and the cost savings. Like, say you have Fast and Furious 8 or whatever, they make $1 billion every movie. They can afford to fly a crew from Atlanta to Prague or wherever they shoot. But just the ability to go into a set and be shooting on a desert 1 minute and change locations after a lunch break right there, and you're not, spending, trucks and gas and moving people from location to location. It's going to be exciting, and what I think is going to be really cool is to see how that opens up storytelling. Somebody who's writing a script has to keep a realistic budget in mind when they're looking at how their script is going to be filmed. But this opens up a whole new avenue of how something can be shot, and for relatively, much less expense than actual moving people in trucks and that kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to watch.
Yes. Thanks. How about that? All the way from NFTs to improved storytelling and lots of points in between. So as we grow, as we're evolving, I think, all of us have been profoundly affected by the pandemic. If there's someone who hasn't been, I haven't found them yet. And as that's happened, there have been many challenges related to that. There's also been some growth opportunities along the way. And I'd just like to hear from our panelists a little bit more about how you think the pandemic has affected us. And I'm looking less for the good or the bad or the in-between, and more, what do you think the most profound changes are that you're seeing from where you sit?
Well, I get tested every week just to go plunge a toilet in my own building. That's different. But first off, for physical production, the cost has been pretty significant. I think a typical show right at the beginning was spending $800,000 a month just to get everybody tested. So it'll be interesting to see how long that goes. If we keep getting strains, they're probably going to keep having to test, for this, foreseeable future. But I think the coolest thing about what happened with COVID, that, my 86-year-old dad now can pull up something on Netflix, which is, that to me is like, all right, that's a little bit different. And I think kind of the demand that got placed on content during COVID allowed people the time to really figure out, all right, how am I going to do this? How many streaming services am I going to have? What do I like? I still haven't cut the cord, so my wife, I don't know how many streaming services we have. I'm sure we have every one, but I won't let go of Comcast yet, just because I'm a little bit scared. But I think that will probably happen at some point. I think it's a generational thing, it's an age thing. But I think it really just pushed us the fast forward button on how we, consume content. But I don't know, 3-5 years maybe.
Great points. I would say age too matters. COVID really kind of put a line, especially in the business world, within technology and how consumers from different age groups are now doing different things. They've changed their habits as a consumer. So my mom, she's in her 70s, and she now knows how to use Zoom. She now knows how to use her remote because she had no choice. Like even things that were, they weren't consuming as much of because of COVID, they're more not to go online, go on, Hulu, know what Hulu is versus just knowing what Netflix is, right? So the education around technology has grown, and I think it's grown more in, the Gen X and above. And, that's where our customer base is, folks who are not typically innovators or, who have known technology as a part of their core business in that heavy way. And now they know it and they want more of it in digestible ways. So they're not going to hop into the metaverse, but they may have an online community that looks like them and, or professionals that they want to join. And that wasn't the case prior to COVID. They're used to it now. They want more of it. They're not going outside as much, probably ever. And there's this opportunity for organizations like mine and others to kind of really have their attention. So what are you going to do with it, and how do you continue to grow that space?
Yeah, so when your mom and your dad start gaming, then I'm really have arrived. I think gamers, we joke we were socially distancing since before it was cool. So it is actually a much more social group than people give a stereotype to, but it's also an activity that can continue in a COVID remote socially distanced form. So gaming, the industry actually grew about 20% in terms of revenue, as the report mentions. Watching other people play video games, which still blows a lot of people's minds, but you watch football, you watch golf, it's not that different. So, and that actually grew about 80% over the pandemic. So a lot of new fans were created because maybe their favorite traditional sport just couldn't happen, and it was literally the only game in town. And so now the industry challenge for gaming and esports is, taking advantage of maybe some of those new casual viewers and turn them into real passionate fans. And like everybody else, esports events they're better in person. They're better in real life. You have that extra energy. So the industry is certainly excited for in-person events to return. But those were some of the impacts of COVID.
Thank you for those. And I suspect those resonate with a number of people who are watching this video as well. I have one more prepared question, and then we'll go to questions from our audience, and that's around talent. And so we're talking about the numbers a little bit. According to the ecosystem report, this industry generates about $14.7 billion a year in revenue. And the overall growth for M&E in the United States is around 6%. We're assuming for the purposes of this report that Georgia is about the same, although I have to say, I think we might be a little higher than the national average. It'll be interesting to do this report in a year or two and see where we stand. And as that happens, there's a tremendous demand for talent, for people who are the best in the world, people who are coming into their career and going to be the best in the world. So can you give us a sense of what you're seeing about talent for various kind of subsectors within the media and entertainment industry? How are we looking today? Where are we strong? Where could we improve? Just what is your take on that, please?
Yeah, I'll start. The Georgia Film Academy has done a great job and educating, young local talent here at any age, really. So I think we're constantly building on that. The new stage you referenced in Athens will have a stage that will be available to the Film Academy, and we'll be able to grab more students from that area. But I think from a need perspective, we talked about virtual production. If you've got enough money, anybody can build one of these massive volume stages. But it's like building an airplane with no pilot. The person that can notice how to take 10 billion pixels and shove them into a computer and make that all work without any glitches, that's the pilot. That's the one of the guys that is going to be very in demand. I think the Film Academy and people are talking about how we get more of those people trained as this trend for virtual keeps growing.
Thank you.
Well, I'm looking for talent, so let me know.
So Farah's hiring.
I'm hiring. I would say, from a hiring perspective, just hiring in Georgia is important. It's important for many reasons, but supporting the state and all our folks. So, I'm looking forward to having people who are interactive designers, who are, that I can go out to within the state of Georgia, who are interactive producers. Everything I do is interactive, but who, just having access to that is important. And I'm seeing, certain things happen, like, Georgia Tech is opening up a new studio for interactive set design. And, I'm sure their students are going to be really specializing in storytelling online and, in that visual space. So I'm, the hope is that the colleges and the programs will foster these skill sets that are, needed, because there's new jobs, transforming jobs for the next century. And we're able to find them here in Georgia.
Yeah, I think there's the workforce challenge of growing our talent that we have, and then also attracting, other great talent from around the country and around the world. And so John mentioned the Georgia Film Academy, and I will plug them as well, Mr. Stepikoff. I mean, they've done such a great job with film, graduating over 10,000 students, most of whom are working in the industry. So for video game and esports, I mean, why reinvent the wheel? We have that same partnership. It's some of the same skills and some brand new skills, but we're working with GFA in a very similar way because that template's just so effective. So folks at Skillshot and other gaming and esports companies that are working professionals training young people, and those young people have a choice to earn college credit or to go through the technical college system and get certified. So that's a great program. And then in terms of hiring from the outside, I actually think this report and deliverables like it are very helpful because they give someone a safety net that there's a whole ecosystem and hundreds of companies. When we were starting HiRes, candidly, we were pretty much the only video game developer in town, and now you've got about 100 plus listed there. So if we were talking with someone in California, that's a big risk to go across the country and put their kids in a new school, and what if the company doesn't work out? So I think that's one of the many benefits of the report, is helping to tell the real broad story of how many companies we have here.
Thank you all for the comments on talent. It's just such a critical part of what we're doing, both growing here and also attracting. And I know we have a very strong university system within the state of Georgia. Of course, Georgia Tech is right in Midtown, but also Georgia State, Kennesaw State here in town, the University of Georgia. I just spoke yesterday with someone who graduated from the Grady School of Journalism there, of course, also in media and entertainment. So when we're looking 360 degrees, there are so many places for people to go and contribute. And I can certainly attest to the fact that some of the large companies around, not just Cox Communications and Cox Media, but also WarnerMedia, the Weather Channel, Gray, Cox Media Group, you can Tyler Perry Studios, on and on, hiring today. So there's a lot of opportunity. So with that, I'd like to look to see if we have any questions for the panel from our audience.
Yeah, so first question, through reading the report, was there anything that surprised you or shocked you based on the data that was shown there? And if so, why?
All right. Feel free to take it away. Anything that was a surprise to you?
There was, I'm always open because I'm in my bubble of looking and kind of retaining my information and in my own world. So everything was surprising to me. Having actual numbers and statistics and having a voice from the community come in, it drives my business, right? It makes us kind of rethink or really go for opportunities that we probably have on the table or in our upcoming, and we're able to really kind of take in and absorb all the information. So.
No, I don't think there was too much surprising. I think it was just validating, I guess. I mean, I of course look to the industry that my little silo that I'm around, and seeing that it's over $800 million of local economic impact. And it actually looked as if the way that impact was measured was fairly conservative, was not overly aggressive, as far as sometimes people can stack multipliers and it seems artificial, and it seemed very real, it seemed very justifiable. So it was really good work and good to see.
Yeah, I'm not really shocked. I mean, from where I started with, that first little show I did to, I think 2020, we were 2.2 in direct spend on the film side, and that jumped to 4. So I've been kind of used to seeing the incremental increases, at least on the film side. And, it wasn't a surprise to see, that growth happening in other sectors of the field.
Yeah, and I'll actually take an angle on this from the perspective of the Media and Entertainment Society here at TAG, and that is, we had said we just want to have a way to organize our thoughts, and Farah, you alluded to this too in particular. And so now we essentially have 6 sectors that have been identified. The first one is essentially film and video production and distribution. The second one is television, including broadcasting. The third is esports and gaming. The fourth, and I may get these not in exactly the right order, the fourth is music. The fifth is radio, and the sixth is publishing. And then putting numbers against those was quite interesting. I can also say that looking at the pre-release of this report, we've identified, I think, 713 companies specifically called out in the report. However, we know that there are around 1,800 of them. And even in the last few days, I've noticed that there are several that are very significant in revenue that we haven't yet called out. So what I'm expecting is that in future iterations of this report, we'll be adding companies that deserve recognition. And this is essentially an invitation to anyone in our audience to say, hey, read the report. How can we make it better? Is there anything we missed? I frankly agree with the observation that our estimates from a revenue perspective are conservative, and I think they will go up over time. Okay, Jessica, other questions?
Yeah, Jeffrey Sawyer asks, what is the single largest hurdle to further acceleration of growth in media and entertainment in Georgia over the next few years? Is it talent? The single largest hurdle.
All right, Jeff, often asking great questions.
I used to think prior to COVID, it was getting all the leadership together to make a decision to move forward. I think that may still be true, but it's definitely as we move forward, it is definitely important for us to understand certain things that we all collectively have to say, hey, let's move in this direction. So benefit for everybody coming in. So I think that's probably still a hurdle, I believe,
Yeah, I would agree. Just managing the growth. It's been explosive. So, the things I think about, I'm president of the Georgia Studio and Infrastructure Alliance, which are solely our main focus is to educate lawmakers, educate anybody that will listen on the impact of the credit, the jobs that it's creating. We try to tell stories of everyday Georgians that work in the industry, from a hairdresser in Columbus to a snake wrangler in Augusta, and try to really educate everybody on the real impact of the legislation and the tax credit. So making sure we don't step on our feet while we're growing this fast is important.
Yeah, the policy considerations are important. John does such a great job there, helping everyone understand the impacts. But my number one, especially since this is TAG, a technical audience, and I'm a coder at heart. So I'm actually going to say it is implementation of computer science and coding at our K through 12 level. So the state has been incredibly forward-looking, Chris Klaus and others, in that we passed legislation that computer science counts as a secondary language and actually needs to be implemented in every high school by a certain date and then every middle school. But actually finding the qualified teachers to implement that is a challenge, a huge challenge. And so I think when we're really looking over the next 5 years, and because every company is a tech company or has an element to it, that would be, I would say, our biggest obstacle and opportunity.
So to kind of piggyback off of all of that, is Georgia ready to go against this hurdle?
Yeah, I think so. I think the right people are in place. Obviously, we're up in an election year. It's, there'll be some muddy waters that we'll have to travel. But we've managed to consistently do that over the course of the last 12 years. And there's always been an issue here or there that pops up in our state for some reason. But we've managed to get through them all pretty well.
I totally agree. I think we're in a different mindset. We have this collective feeling of the future, and that it's here, and it's open for whatever we're going to do right now, for it to just kind of change what's going to happen next. So I do think folks are coming together, making decisions, and moving forward with how we're going to shape the future. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, policy-wise, as you said, fortunately, the entertainment industry has enjoyed bipartisan support for many years. There's some bumps, but everyone loves seeing that big peach at the end of the Avengers movie or the end of the video game or whatever it is, right? That brings us together. So hopefully that will enjoy it. And again, to the computer science issue, yes, I think it starts with just putting the mandate out there that we're going to do this as a state. We are going to be a leader in technology, and it's going to start in K through 12. And it's going to be a lot of hard work to deliver that, but we've at least set the bar. Now we just got to get to work and implement it.
So a question from Kelly, if there was one proficiency that Tag Ed, which is Tag's philanthropic arm, and that focuses on STEM education, both for pre-workforce and in workforce. So if there was proficiency that Tag Ed could teach or train people on, what would it be? And what is the skill that is being highly sought after?
God, we better.
I'll go first.
Okay, that's a good one. One skill. There's so many important skills. I mean, I guess the foundational skill is sometimes called computational thinking, which is really just breaking down problems and thinking analytically and thinking critically, and that goes well beyond computer science, but it's kind of the fundamentals that many get in computer science. After that baseline, I think probably in my mind, the technologies around, we can call it virtual production, but they really intersect a lot of the areas that we're talking about. If we're talking about a craft skill or actually learning or tools, I think that affects everything. The more you see a headline on NFTs or the metaverse, or like people are still figuring out what that means, but it's definitely going to involve skills associated with building virtual sets, virtual avatars, animations. So,
I mean, yeah, everything from the lens of the camera all the way to the finished product has advanced through technology. So from camera technology itself, remember we were just shooting on regular film not long ago, and people hadn't been all about it, but it's that transition is largely done. To audio, a great company in Athens, Tweed Recording, is in one of the old buildings downtown Athens, and they have it's a school for anything audio, from kind of soup to nuts and Pro Tools, and so there's people out there that are really trying to advance the audio side of it. So yeah, I mean, from head to toe, there's technology and everything related to production, and that's only going to grow with the advent of virtual production.
I'll be different just because I would say entrepreneurship in the creative industries. These folks have to get hired from someone, and this is the process of learning how to build a business and building products for that people actually need and want to use. It's super important for how we kind of draft the future of media and entertainment. So I'll go in that direction.
All right. Thank you.
Obuku, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, asked, besides the 6 genres or categories mentioned in the ecosystem report, do you feel there are any emerging or new outlets on the horizon?
I don't even know what NFT stands for, so I'm gonna pass it to y'all.
I mean, we mentioned a couple times metaverse and where does that fit exactly, because it's still being developed, I think, culturally in terms of what it is, but a concept of shared spaces where interactions happen, and whether that's in 3D, AR, VR, it's definitely growing. I think COVID showed us that these hybrid experiences where sometimes you're with people in real life, but a lot more people all over the world can experience it when they can't travel there. That is not going away. So tech is just going to fuel more and more interesting experience. Travis Scott doing a concert inside the game Fortnite that has tens of millions of people experiencing it at the same time. That same sort of thing has happened in the kids' game Roblox. Like, we're just getting started. So if you want to call that, whether metaverse or even just massive live events, that take place in a hybrid form. Yeah, I think we're just getting started, and that would be a different vertical.
Agreed. Farah, did you want to chime in on that?
No, I think he took everything I would say. Yeah, that NFT, which is just you buying stuff digitally. You know, we've been doing that for a long time, but just coining it in a term that we can, you know, put into moving forward words. That's it. You know, my son uses, he's on Roblox, and he's 8, and he knows what Gucci and Prada is because that's where they're selling to my son right now. He knows Michael Kors, he knows all the top fashion designers because he wants me to buy him clothes on Roblox, and he knows all the cars. He knows Porsche and Bentley, and so he's you know, a little baby consumer. He has no money, but he's coming up in that way of being, you know, knowing these products and these brands are really going after advertising. So that is definitely a vertical that is already here. It's huge. It's just not in the professional realm as much right now.
It's crazy to think we didn't get our cell phone installs like 2020, maybe.
That's right. I distinctly remember the iPhone was released in 2007. The App Store launched in 2008. And that just unleashed all sorts of creativity that now affects us every place from, you know, how we get our weather to how we might watch a movie to how we park our car. And there are companies in the Georgia kind of technology ecosystem overall, and some of them are included in media and entertainment that are very active because these foundational technologies have launched. So there's no question in my mind that when we're having a discussion like this one in 2, 4, 6 years, we're going to be seeing some very interesting evolution from where we are today.
So we have 2 more questions. One is from Rebecca, and it's, what is the role or responsibility of media and entertainment in Georgia to be a leader in diversity, equity, and inclusion?
It's a big responsibility. Okay, so it's a huge responsibility. You know, me, I'm African American. Of course, you can see me up here. I'm a woman, and in media and entertainment, on the innovation side, you don't see me. You know, as I'm not the Mark Zuckerberg of my industry, and you know, you're not going to see a lot of folks that look like me. But the need for what you know, products and things that I'm solving for and people I'm solving for, it's universal. I'm solving for everyone. But the product is homegrown from the culture and my background and people around me and then my network and all my jobs. All these things are a great mishmash of why the Labz exists. And because I am unique and I was born unique, that's why the product is what it is. So if we can foster diversity and inclusion within the, you know, in the products, within problem solving in the creative industry, you're going to find a very nice mix of solutions. You're going to find people who are just dying for something like this in their lives because now it was made by someone who understood where they were coming from and the problems that they had. So super important.
From a building owner perspective, I don't obviously do any hiring, but I walk into studios to see, I can see who's working there. And I think for the most part, they've done a very good job of representation and diversity. I think I do agree with one of the points that you made is we do have such a diverse community. And I do think that we can always put effort into fostering more opportunities to be entrepreneurs in this space. And I think that's going to be an important thing kind of moving forward.
Yeah, I think the gaming industry candidly is working on it. You know, it hasn't arrived yet, but it's a big topic of conversation. I think there's always an element of kind of access. COVID highlighted the tech divide for young students where, you know, not everyone's got access to a computing device. Fortunately, with phones, it's getting close, you know, but not everybody. And so I often tell the story that, I was fortunate in that I had one of the first personal computers. Like my dad worked at IBM, and that I credit the fact that I worked in software engineering and went on to make video games because I had that access. So what I'm encouraged by is all the corporate support here generally in Georgia to work on the problem, not that it's done, but to give more access. If you have access, and as technology improves, again, you get more diverse voices in storytelling, which is really what the audience responds to, is not hearing the same story. So yeah, I'm encouraged that we happen to be in a place where we have these conversations and when we're working on making it better. And I think it is our responsibility as leaders in the industry to keep having the conversations.
I'll pick up on this also before we go to the last question. We can, and at times have, kind of put on events and seminars and broader discussions around diversity and inclusion. In answer to the specific question, I think media and entertainment should be front and center. Picking up on several comments that have been made, almost by definition of what we do, we're very visible a lot of the time. Not everything that we do is very visible, but some of the products. And it isn't just a movie, it isn't just a TV broadcast, it isn't just arena for esports, it's across the board. And what we're finding is that the more diversity we have with some of the most talented people from a wide range of backgrounds and experiences, the better the results are, the better the innovation is, the stronger we are as companies, the stronger we are as a community. And so I just want to underscore from the perspective of being the co-chair of the TAG Media and Entertainment Society, and understanding that TAG has a major initiative here, and also understanding where many of the companies that we work with, including my own, where we stand on this, it's just critically important and central.
Great. And last question here, how do you see the ecosystem report affecting the industry?
I think like Todd hit on, having this material put together in the way that it was, with so much detailed information, really helps as people look to move to Georgia to chase this industry. I know personally from the people that I'm around mostly in film production, we're getting a lot of people wanting to move here, not only vendors or just bring their families here. This is something that helps them if they see it, say, okay, you know what? This isn't such a risk for me to move to Georgia to chase the entertainment industry and the media industry. This proves it, it's a building block to help people make that decision.
Totally agree. I think, from a business owner perspective, I can open that up and make some key decisions that I need in order to move forward. We're all just making really good guesses at times, but if someone that has done research and there is a margin of error we can kind of avoid, then this report has certainly did the job for us to kind of lessen our risk. So it's great information.
I think kind of how you started, Lewis, around the goals for the report, and then COVID put things a little bit on the skids, but just the fact that the different industry segments are in one comprehensive report is very powerful, because up until now, I think our industries used to be somewhat siloed, and film was doing its thing, and gaming was doing its thing, and music, and broadcasting, and really, I think COVID maybe forced or accelerated people having conversations like, how are you dealing with the testing thing? Or, when are you going to come back to work, right? And so everyone learning together. So that was already happening, but now having that kind of crystallized in a report that says, yes, we're one creative set of industries, right, around media and entertainment. I just think it's nice. It'll encourage the culture of collaboration that's already been built.
Well, what a panel to really recognize this milestone. John, Farah, Todd, thank you so much for joining us today. And to all of our audience, wherever you are and whenever you're watching, we appreciate you, and we look forward to finding ways together that we can build on media and entertainment and learn together. As I think about the findings from this, we're seeing a framework, a way to think about our industry, and a way to build in all sorts of interesting directions. we're also seeing data, we're seing evidence in a way that has never been compiled before. And so we hope that this will be a valuable contribution to a lot of people and a lot of companies, our community and beyond. I do want to say that what I find coming away from reading the report, Georgia has a very dynamic media and entertainment community. Also, we're increasingly on the world stage. I know some people are looking to film, look at Atlanta and one or two other places before they decide these days. That's being in a very select group. And lastly, we're driving serious technological innovation with our companies individually and collectively from a wide range of perspectives and with a particular strength and value with lots of ways to grow around diversity and inclusion, which is critically important to how we're going to succeed in the future. So with that, I want to not forget to also thank our society sponsors, Comcast, WarnerMedia, and also Cox Media, and make sure to say thanks for your pioneering contributions to helping us make this day possible. We're looking forward to lots of awesome things. We will have events next year, and there will be much more communication on that. So with that, I believe we're right at time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the Technology Association of Georgia. Take care, everyone.